right, oh man. I'm joined by the 20-time champion, a 2-time world champion, a legend to the Call of Duty scene, Patty P, a.k.a. Aches. And I'm also joined by another world champion, a staple to the Call of Duty scene. Gave it up for Chris Parasite. Gentlemen, how we feeling today? A long weekend of COD, man.
Yeah, but a good one. Oh, sorry.
Oh yeah, no, you're good. I was just saying, I was feeling a lot better before Ian Wyatt, aka Enable, robbed me of my words bar for bar on the TL.
What'd he do? What'd he do, Pat? You saw your tweet?
I joined the stream. Remember time and I was like, yo, Kismet's got ultimate finesse, convince Havoc not to go to NYSL so he can get in there. Remember that? You heard that?
I heard it. I heard it. Yeah.
I say, be right back. I'm gonna get ready for the flank. And this guy tweets it out.
You're lying. You're lying. Let's pull it up here live on the flank. Enable tweets out, you gotta tip Kismet's finesse levels. Convince Havoc not to go to NYSL just so he can slide in there and cop the W. He just he just straight robbed you. Look at Cole. Look at Cole. He commented on it. He said, bro, with a couple laughing faces. That's crazy, man. Poor Colt, man. Colt's going through it right now. But, hey, really good win. What are you guys' thoughts on the day, man? New York Subliners were able to get this dub.
They're the only team I couldn't jinx.
Yeah, I think we all said yesterday, right, that they were going to win?
Yeah, we did. We called a New York Subliners win, which is crazy. We all called it. We were right, guys. We were all right.
Good job, boys.
Wow, look at us. We're getting it right on the flank. But we had a few good matches today, man. Some close matches, some really good bangers. One banger in particular was this first one, man. Let's get right into it. We got the New York Subliners going up against Toronto Ultra, Boat Cage Hardpoint, Desert Siege S&D, Tuscan Control, Tuscan Hardpoint, Berlin S&D. Gentlemen, anything on the vetoes that caught your eye?
Not really. I'm surprised we got a Bokich hardpoint again, because that's been the trending map that New York has been able to win every single series. Yeah. But knowing how they played this one, man, the entire weekend, this map is not getting played. There's no way this map gets played again, right? Like in any other series.
So, for Toronto, you're saying?
No. For New York, how they keep getting Bokich, it kind of reminds me of how what was it like at the Major 2? I think the Gorillas had a map that they just kept winning and it like carried their like momentum throughout the entire tournament until like
so you're saying people are gonna veto it against them, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it has to be, right? Like there's no way they get it again. I feel like that happens.
Lot of those instances
at tournaments, right, where it's like, oh, a team's just playing a map over and over, winning it. Yeah,
like my EG team in 2018, like we had the same thing with St. Marie. That's like one I can think of off the top of my head, where like a team didn't know that, or players didn't know that was our best map, and so they let it in every series. But it's like you have to get that one event out of the way for you to be like, all right, now we know that that's their best map. Like we're just not gonna let them have that.
Yeah. And in this first map, I mean, New York came out and took care of business early on. It was Kismet again, who was just constantly getting into those hills and milking this time. I think he had like almost 3 minutes in hill after the end of this one. He had like 2.5 minutes of hill time. And on Boat Cage, that's impressive, man. When you have a player who's prioritizing hill time and then on top of that, picking up kills, I mean, what more can you ask from Kismet? I think he did a great job all weekend coming into this team and just kind of just doing his role, right? Just kind of filling in those gaps. On the other side, Bance was kind of the only one who was able to do anything in this first map. But the first couple maps, man, I mean, NYSL came out and slapped Toronto the first map, and the second map, Toronto came out and slapped NYSL. So weren't really too close.
Even more impressive that he's like leading them in engagements and hill time. Like, so he's basically like being the superstar on the breaks in terms of just always, getting in a fight and getting one dying, whatever it may be, and also soaking up the hill time when they do have control.
100%. And you want what stood out to me is I think they lost one hard point this entire tournament or something like that.
Really good
hard point. That was that 100-point club on Berlin. I think that was also like one of the only times they played that Berlin map as well. So that might be their
But yeah, they won basically every HP besides the last one, not the last one, but the first one in finals. So, I mean, props to them. Their hardpoint's been on a tear. Even before, when they had Neptune, they looked a lot better in hardpoint. The coaching staff, whatever the hell they did besides the roster change, these guys look like they're on a different level than hardpoint. And I'm honestly, I'm kind of surprised, man, because like what was like the best hardpoint team before these guys? It was like FaZe at one point. And I think
It started in the beginning of the year, right? LA Thieves was like really good
LA
at hard
Thieves was
point,
really
then they
good.
fell
Yeah, it
off a
was
little.
They fell off. Then it was phased for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And like I don't know, I just don't like it's so weird. And like if you think about the players that we're seeing, right? Kismet and like Paul, those guys are like really good search and destroy players. I wouldn't expect them to be this good at hardpoint, like as a team. Like it's just like so weird to me. They like mesh. They just mesh so well with like the way they play.
Well,
They
I think the
they're very
system.
efficient.
I think the way that the team is set up is just really good. You have Kismet, who's kind of the hill basher, right? He's focusing on the objective. On top of that, getting kills. He's just doing his job really, really good. Then you have Paul and Hydra, who to me are just like the slang superstars. I mean, these are the guys who are just putting up the numbers, focusing on their kills. They kind of roam the map. And then Porter's filling in gaps. And Porter's another one who filling in gaps. He's been playing well too. Porter's been playing well since the start of the year. He's been playing really well in this game. I just feel like as a whole, this team's been looking good, man. This map ended up getting a little bit closer, but New York had full control of the whole game. I mean, they had such a big lead, and Toronto brought it back towards the end. You can see Bance had 43 kills, but it just wasn't enough. We'll take a look at the final scoreboard. You had Kismet with 2 minutes and 36 seconds in the hill, 35 and 38. 40 bomb coming out of Hydra, almost a 40 bomb for Krim with 39. Just really good plays, man, coming out of the whole New York squad. 37 and 35 from Paul. On the other side, they were all struggling to get kills. It seemed like Bance was the only one who went positive. But what do you think went wrong for Toronto in his hard point? Just couldn't keep up, it seemed like, with the slang power of New York.
Yeah, and to me, I mean, it just seemed like I feel like it was just a sloppy game out of them overall. Like it was just a lot of back and forth. They didn't seem to like when they had control, they didn't have it for long. So I think still some of their woes are continuing in hardpoint, but I think they've made a massive improvement from where they were.
Yeah, 100%.
Agreed. And we'll see if how they play moving forward. But let's get into the S&D. We get into a Desert Siege S&D. This is kind of where Toronto kind of bounced back. They were winning rounds fast. And one thing I noticed about Toronto on Desert Siege, their defenses, look how aggressive they get on their Ds. You can see Kleenex, he constantly on defense was pushing up these streets and getting aggro. You don't really see teams get aggressive like that on defense on Desert Siege, right? I feel like most of the time they're just sitting back. You either get mid control or you just sit back broken and spread the map. I feel like it's risky.
Honestly, I don't think it's risky. I think
it works
it's
for
pretty,
them.
Well, on defense, right? You get the advantage of just like getting like to certain positions a lot quicker and being able to actually take over sight lines before the offensive team can actually get people to be in the position to counter you, which gives you basically an advantage when covering teammates to get to certain spots.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people don't realize this, but the like on the offensive side, that middle of the map is really fucking ass. Like it's just you
don't even need to go in there.
Well, no, I'm not saying not in the building. I'm saying right outside of it.
Okay,
it's so fucking open that like if you can get like almost like sandwich the team or like get aggressive on it, you can catch a lot of people in like off positions if they're like playing around the middle.
Yep.
So I don't know. I think Toronto did a really good job. But the one thing that stood out for me in this S&D is I still remember like I think at the first major, right, where they were winning a lot of S&Ds, but they weren't winning a single hard point. They had Insight basically like sniping the entire time. I don't think I saw Insight with a sniper very much this map, right?
No, not really. No, he didn't snipe too much, and also just clutching up. I mean, you saw Kleenex get aggressive on a 1-2 round. That puts him up 2 rounds, and then going into this round, it was a 2v4 for Toronto, and Cammy and Bance were able to break him down slowly. They just kind of like waltzed right up through the middle of the map. They were kind of playing quiet. They got control of their side, found a couple kills, and they were able to clutch at the 2v4. I felt like after this 2v4, it was pretty much chalked up. After this, again, and you heard Merc just saying it over and over again when he was watching. He's like, these players just keep finding gaps. They just keep sneaking. And I guess that can happen on Desert Siege, right? There's so much going on once you get into that middle building. There's so many different lanes. Because if you look on the A site, right, like you have inner lane, you have the outer lane, then you have the mid building, then you have the mid map, then you had that whole field area. So there's just a lot to pick up on.
That's another reason why it almost pays to be aggressive. Like even if you might have a man advantage, you might want to like start thinking about like pushing out sites because you might get caught with like bad timing and something like that and mowed down. But like more often than not, you're just going to isolate certain parts of the map and you're going to cut up your variables. You see what I'm saying? Yep. At the very least, you'll be stuck, together.
No, good point. I think other than that, man, this was just a really good map from Toronto. Ends up being 1-5 after a couple clutch rounds. And then Toronto was able to close it out here. I think New York, they tried to have the retake. Toronto got a first blood here in this last round. They got the bomb down. And then after that, to New York, there wasn't really much they can do. Just like that, Toronto tied a series up at 1. Take a look at the final scoreboard. Porter with a shitter. He had a breadstick, 1-7. What are you gonna do? Happens to the best. On the other side, 10-4 from Kleenex. We're about to get into this next control, and you're gonna see the frustrations coming in from the Toronto Ultra camp. This control was insane, man. I don't know what the hell happened with Toronto here, but this was an absolute breakdown from Toronto Ultra. What did you guys think about this one?
I mean, I honestly looked away. I thought they were gonna, win the map, and then I turned around and I was like, "What the fuck?"
It was nuts. I mean, we're gonna go right into where it all kind of spirals out of control. So Toronto's able to win an offense to kick things off. They get 2 ticks early on B. They end up getting that 8-point and just working kills through front, doing what every other team does. They're able to find a few dead and stack this point and win the offense. So good job out of them. Things are looking good. They go back on the defensive side after clutching up on an offense. They go up 2 rounds. And then it's New York's turn, right? It's New York's turn to try and kind of bring this one back. They win their defense, and then this is where things get interesting at the end of this offense. I don't know what the hell happened here. No idea. You can see the lives right now. New York has 8 lives. Toronto has 14 lives. And they had one more push. It should be chalked. And where do you guys think Toronto kind of went wrong here? What do you think they should have done? Because you see Kleenex, he's kind of going rogue. He's going to get picked out. You see Cammy get picked out. In New York, they just flood. They force it, right? They just force it.
Just sit back and kill war straight up. Like, just make the easy play. Like, I don't know why they got antsy and wanted to end the round as soon as possible. Like, the odds were stacked against New York. Toronto had the easiest job to do, and I feel like they just tried to go hero mode and end it, and then they got put in this little bit of a blender, and then New York just capitalized.
You also got to give credit to Hydra, right? Just the plays he was able to make. He picked up a few kills. He stormed through Platte, was able to get through to their base and just kind of pin Toronto back. And then right here got even crazier. So Toronto gets back in. It's 3-2 life advantage. Kismet bounces back, makes it a 2v2. 2 versus 2, 6 seconds left. Look at the setup here from New York. So Kismet's going to sit on the backside of Hill, and Paul's going to look over him from the middle alley. So nobody from Toronto can overextend without Paul and Kismet kind of double teaming him a little bit. And that's what's going to happen. Bance is going to overextend. He's going to get taken down, and Kismet's going to work the trade on the last guy. So just really, really good plays from Kismet and Paul right there. That was insane.
Yeah, that was actually nuts just watching it like over again, because when you watch it the first time, it kind of just all happened so fast, but that was actually a super mega close round.
Yeah, and then we get into the overtime round. New York is back on the offense with 20 seconds left to go. It's 9 versus 9 in the life count, and Toronto let this one go again. Nobody's watching the back for Toronto. You see Krim and Kismet just kind of waltz through the back. I mean, I feel like Toronto, their setup here, they're just not looking at anything. You have 2 guys turtling Platte. You have 3 guys basically turtling on the hill, and then you have 1 guy soloed out top green. They gave New York the whole map. They gave him the whole back spawn. They gave him all up front. They don't know where they're coming from. Look at Krim. He walks from the back, not even getting shot at. Nobody's even looking in that direction. By the time I think it's number 6, Cammy tries to drop back, Krim's gonna slide out, get a kill. Kismet's gonna get the trade. And that's going to allow New York to get onto this site with 4 dead. Now, right here, let me ask you guys something. Do you think that New York should have stacked a point right here? They still won this map, but I think they need to stack here. They ended up clutching up, and it got a little scary, but I think they should stack this point. With only 4 seconds left?
Yeah, I mean, maybe not a 4 stack, but definitely more than what they did, because I think they were just so afraid of the nades, like, because they knew this was their last push, and they, as long as they kept the time pause, like, only 5 lives for Ultra. That's not that many if they had to slay out. I think they were more concerned with just keeping the time pause and didn't want some nade to come through that pretty much, eliminated their chance.
Exactly. And I think they're in good positions. Like, you see all those nades, right? If they would have stacked, like, you got to think it's probably killing like 2 people. I think Toronto probably re-breaks this with the stack, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe.
If the lives weren't that close, I think they should for sure.
Yeah, 100%. But it's just I don't really like stacking sometimes on this point just because of the nades. But like I think they had so much map control. Like you saw not Hydra, but I don't know who it was pushed up on that spot like deep in their spawn. That guy's like at least getting 1 or 2 if they come around that corner.
Yeah, it was Papa.
Yeah. And then they had like people playing these off angles here, and obviously the guy juggling top. I think they had all their bases covered. They didn't need to rush it. They just need to make sure they didn't die, and they had the perfect setup. So
and then it comes down. I mean, the reason why it got close, guys. I mean, look, Toronto broke in, and there's 1.4 seconds left. because nobody I mean, even like what Pat said, right? Like maybe not the whole team, but I think they should have put a couple more guys on there, like maybe 2 guys, right? 2 or 3 guys. They only had 1 guy originally. And it almost bit them in the ass because now Paul has to go fucking massive on the point with 1 second left to go. He slides onto the point with 1 second. He's going to gun 1, and Insight's going to be running with his pants down because I don't think he had any more ammo left. And you could see the frustrations coming in from Kleenex and the Toronto boys. They lost composure after that one. Just really good clutching up from New York, man. I mean, that was a really, really close map. And you got to think, man, these maps are so close, could have gone either way, and then New York ended up being the champion. So maybe Toronto feels like they throw this one away a little bit because those are 2 rounds they got to win, in my personal opinion. Take a look at the final scoreboard. Crimsix 31 and 29, Kismet 38 and 32. Kismet again playing great. Paul and Hydra do, a little bit of, Paul did well. Hydra would have went negative, but, he can't go off every map. So it's good to see other people stepping up. And then on the other side, I mean, what are you going to do? Cammy and Bant had good maps, but it is what it is. They didn't even pull it up.
Gersh says that he wants to talk his shit for 5 minutes, please.
No, Gersh is going to come in here and be an asshole. It'd be a moron. What do you mean he wants to talk your shit? What the fuck are you talking about, talk your shit? Yeah, we'll talk to Gersh later, man. Well, fuck you.
He's banned from the TS.
He's banned from the TS?
No way, dude.
Well, listen, I can't worry about that right now, Gershy boy. All right, we'll get you in another time, man. But this is not the time for you to come in and talk your shit. Gershy, fucking asshole. Fucking guy. But let's get into the next one.
This might never happen again.
Let's get into the next one, man. We got Tuscan Hardpoint coming up next. And, after the first rotation, it was pretty much tied. But where do you think it went wrong for Toronto in the Hardpoint, man? Because they just weren't able to clutch this one up either. This one went all the way down to the wire once again.
I mean, after that absolute breakdown map 3, I don't know. I think that's why they went down so much so early.
Yeah, I would have lost composure.
Yeah,
it's like those are like 2 actual losses because of seconds. Literally 1v1 L's in control that arguably you probably should have won. And dude, if I already didn't have any faith in their hard point, right? They looked better in it, but playing against New York, who's been by far the best HP team at this tournament, I honestly didn't think Ultra was going to actually get this map any close. But they ended up, had a close game, and then once again they couldn't close, dude. I think they just.
It was so close. So it was back and forth the whole map. It was back and forth the whole map.
Story, right? That's the story about the Ultra. Always they're never gonna be a team that's gonna get blown out in hardpoint. They always keep it close and then just seem to always not let go of let their foot off the gas at the end, but not be able to clutch up and finish the game. So, like I said, I think it's still some of their woes in hardpoint are continuing. They're doing better because they're obviously able to close out a few, but I just think overall they really need to focus on a late game plan, whether that be different rotations to certain hills and kind of just being able to close out games and hopefully we can see some of that in Major 3.
Yeah, I mean, this was a nail biter. I mean, they were going back and forth all game long. It wasn't until the very end where you could just see New York kind of kick up a little bit. You can see here it's a tie game. Basically, New York had a little bit of a lead. Kismet getting here early on rotation. He's able to find one. That's going to disrupt Toronto a little bit. That's going to open up some gaps for Paul X and Hydra tried to make a play. He ended up falling. Toronto, they get into this P1 hardpoint, and you can kind of see how New York was able to break this. It's going to start with Porter. He's going to make a play through you, which, again, I mean, Toronto has to be watching this. You have 2 guys on hill. Nobody has mid-map, and they're both looking at the same thing. Insight's going to get shot in the back. Crimson's going to open things up. Again, because they weren't picking up their lanes, it's going to allow Kismet and Paul to get in there and win some ones. And after this, I mean, New York just kind of worked these trades and somehow clutch up. It starts again with Kismet. He ends up getting a big 2-piece here. If Kiz doesn't win that 2-piece, I don't know if New York wins this map.
Yeah, but on top of that, Toronto ends up breaking in again or getting them off the hill to a point where New York can't win off that. But in Kismet, again, we can't talk about this guy enough.
This is big time now.
This was big time, but he finds the absolute gap at the end of the game where he literally gets around the back for free. And he
how did he get through? Because I saw that. I still don't understand how you got through.
I mean,
what was Ultra looking at?
It's pure timing. You have the two people on
Yeah,
scrap.
it was just pure timing. It was a good
Right.
route from Kiz, honestly. He went top church
Yeah, but why are
to
they not
alley.
watching mid alley like either way from the hill? Because like they had someone plat, so they obviously had the push out of
Yeah,
top.
they're
maps.
looking at the
Like,
same
why-
thing.
Yeah, why is the guy in hill not just watching mid alley until the other teammates get there?
It's the same mistake they made.
He probably was for watching top green or whatever you call
Yeah,
it,
but no
like
one's
the radio.
gonna fly out, and there's a guy plat if he needs his help anyway. Like just sit behind the heady on the statue and watch mid.
Yeah.
They're just leaving gaps open, and you saw it on the third P1, right, where Kismet was able to get, where Krim got in through you because they were looking at the same shit, and you saw it again at the last hill, the last P2, because Kismet was able to find a gap. They're giving up
They
lanes.
literally would have won this game. Like they had it. They needed like what 10 points. They had rotation. They were valid. Like if Kiz didn't get through and flip spawns, they won that game. So yeah, I think it's just those last hills, like their setups are just sloppy, and I don't know if it's just like comms and it being hectic because it's a close games or what, but they got to figure out how to close out those situations.
Yeah, no, I agree. Toronto, close but no cigar. It was super close for them. They put up a good fight, and this one they definitely had to be frustrated after that one because people in the chat are saying Ultra blows, but listen, Ultra, they played the champions close. I mean, these guys won the event, and Ultra could have arguably won this series. So I feel like they might have let that one go a little bit. I felt like they were ahead of New York, but they weren't picking up the gaps and they weren't picking up the lanes, and that allowed New York to break on in and win the maps.
They also couldn't compete with their slaying. Like you see the numbers for like all the hard points. Like they were getting outslayed for the most part on like. Even in the Bokage, they got outslayed really bad, but it was still decently close. I think they're playing a lot better hardpoint, being able to like compete and win maps now, but they're still obviously they're just not closing out games at all. And you can see the frustration in Kleenex's face after they lost that series. He does
that every loss
bad.
though. He does that every loss.
Nah,
Yeah,
he looked really mad after that one.
I know, but he always
bad.
does the same motion when they lose.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
he puts his hand on his head. He's shaking his hand warmers. He's just losing full, man. He's just losing full. But Toronto, they're a good team, great players, man. They're gonna have to bounce back now. I'm sure they'll go back and learn a thing or two from that one. But let's get into the next one, man. We got OpTic Texas going up against the Los Angeles Thieves, ladies and gentlemen. This was an absolute banger. We got Berlin Hardpoint, Boat Cage S&D, Gavitu Control, Tuscan Hardpoint, Tuscan S&D. Anything to note in the vetoes, gentlemen?
This is people's best team. I can't believe it, Tom.
Who, OpTic?
Can't believe it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're playing with General, Pat.
Yeah. I don't want to hear. I didn't hear no excuses the other day when they played FaZe with General. It wasn't. Oh, we're playing with General. No.
All right, Pat, we're gonna go back on board with your thoughts after we listen to Fat Man's interview. Let's tune in and see what Fat Man had to say.
Yo, this one's got to be short. F1's on.
Okay.
It's got to be short. Ant, what's up, Dick Face? How's it going?
Whoa, what's up with the diss, man? Krim, listen, I know F1 is on, but you guys
Wait, you
were running
acknowledged it. You acknowledged
listen.
it. He failed the test. Failed.
All right, listen, Krim. I want to talk to you about the
hate
game.
Verstappen.
Talk to me about
Okay,
Call of
go
Duty.
ahead.
Talk to me about the control at the very end, because you guys tried to hit like a triple flank. It didn't work out, and then you went on like a solo flank at the end, which ended up winning you guys the round.
Yep. What else to say, Ant?
I want you to talk.
That's exactly what happened.
I want you to talk to you about that round. Like, talk to you about the comms in the round. Like,
Guy's
what was
a moron,
happening?
bro.
Were you
Wait,
trying to
hold
coordinate a
on.
pitch there?
Real question. No, screw that shit. We don't care about clutches here. How was Kleenex getting behind us on Desert Siege? Tell me. Where?
Just running.
Well, first of all, you guys have nobody watching train side.
Nobody
That
watched
is a
train
terrible
side. He just
strategy.
ran straight next to
He
the
pushed
wall.
through train?
Yeah.
Watch the
Right through
lanes,
train.
Right
man.
through
He
it.
pushed through train?
Yeah.
You had all three players looking at
Fuck, was
mid-building.
supposed to snipe it.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
I'm
he
over
went
at
straight through it.
Castle, right? Literally just ducking and diving, right? Watching out for a sniper because it's terrifying. And all of a sudden, in our spawn.
Well, wonderful.
Oh, train?
Yeah.
Train. Anyways, Ant, nice shirt today.
Thank
that
you.
was a good win. Give me fucking Scumpy.
That's what I wanted
Well, that's
to
what
say.
we
I
were
was
tearing
gonna
the
say
fucking
that was my
shreds.
question.
I'm gonna tear
Yeah,
him to
that must have
shreds.
got nervous
and
when he heard
Ray,
that.
Rambo? Yo, Ray, fuck you.
All right, that's it for the Game Field Victory Spotlight.
Thank you so much, Chris. Hey, listen, man, we'll see you in the finals.
Damn, Ray must have got
Bro,
nervous.
they must said, okay, well, that's it for the spotlight or Game Fuel Spotlight. Let's keep it moving. He said, Ray, fuck you. Like, Jesus, what's wrong with this guy? But what are you going to do, man? Crimsix, you know, he's a mind of his own, man. He's guy. I don't even think it's an interview at this point. He's not answering any questions. He just goes up there and just talks.
Yeah, it's like a Crim Thoughts segment.
Yeah, he just walks away, you know? But let's get into the LA Thieves and OpTic Texas. What were you saying, Pat? That you were saying something.
I was just saying, like, to lose to the Thieves, like, general, no general, whatever. Like, it's just not a good look for people who think that's the best team in the game. But anyway, Tom, I mean, let's get into the map.
Yeah, let's get into it a little bit. I want to talk about LA Thieves because Octane and Envoy had an absolute day. I feel like this was pretty back and forth in his first map, and it wasn't until the listenings kind of kicked in you can kind of see how much energy these guys came out with, and you'll see Octane and Envoy hit their sprees, man. We'll go to the first P5. That's kind of where Octane kind of popped off, and just tune in. We'll go into a live listening with Envoy. Or with Octane, and you guys can kind of see what Octane was able to do here, man. He was absolutely frying, so let's tune in.
Now, before P5 actually pops, LA Thieves, they won 3 gunfights, but the one gunfight and one for OpTic was by Scump, and that was Fireside. So he actually flipped the spawns, but Octane looking for 6. I don't even know if I should have said it, because it's been so elusive. It's been so elusive. There we go. He broke our curse. Now he's looking for number 8. He's got the glide bomb in hand, locking down rotation shots. Yeah, I know you love to do this. He's just watching the window.
Yeah, Octane popping off right now. Absolutely taking over. It's going to be a double-digit streak now, 10 in a row. And look at the kill feed. The teammates picking up the rest of the scrap. Everyone was kind of around even. Like, there wasn't a lot of separation. No one taking.
So the spree comes in from Octane. He's currently sitting at a 10. You could kind of see how, you know, he made the play, man. He got to that P1 hardpoint pretty early. And because they were soaking up some of that P5, he was also able to lock down those spawns for P1 and kind of get his team full control of his hill. You can kind of see this is where LA Thieves start to run away with this one. And then we get into the listenings, and you'll start to see what the plays that Envoy was making and how difficult it was for OpTic to track Envoy. I think Envoy went on a 9 or 10 spree as well. So let's tune into the listening with OpTic Texas and see how the boys were sounding.
Approximately 30 points. It's Thieves in the hard point. Let's go to a listening now with OpTic Texas.
They still spawn there. Yo, Draws is still there.
Yeah, he's close range.
He's
in triple. Yeah, we gotta work fire here.
Trying to time.
Back door 100%. Let's get fire. Marking fire area. Back door, back door. I don't see anything fire side. Yo, fire.
One guy's back there. Fire weak, Dylan, bro. Fire weak, top fire.
It's only 3, yeah.
Actually, one stop fire.
We can hit this. No. Oh yeah, we should hit this.
I have to triple.
Yo, he's behind you.
He's secret Dylan. Yo, he's outside of secret. He's gonna try to flip us. We're gonna get flipped. No, we didn't flip.
They just couldn't handle the dark prince.
They couldn't. The Envoy was all over him. Watch this.
Watch out under.
There's two here. Envoy is the guy out.
Yeah, rotate back in a good row. Yo, he's close to streaks. He's hella close to streaks. I'm holding out. Just hit outer. Outer Dylan. 2 outer.
They're all there. There's 2 of them hitting it.
What shallow fire? Literally what? He's breaking his ankles, bro.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what to do, bro. He doesn't.
We gotta go left through mid.
I'm taking it around left.
I'm gonna help you guys through mid right here.
I'm gonna go outer.
Yeah, I don't see anything secret area.
All right, so we're going to end the listening there. You could just kind of see it started with Octane, right, on that P1 going on his 10 spree. That's going to open up the lead a little bit for LA Thieves. And then it just continues with Envoy going on his spree. He's sitting on a 10 spree. He's able to get some streaks. And look at the scoreboard now. I mean, that kind of just opened up things for the Los Angeles Thieves. So good play out of them. What were you guys' thoughts on the map?
I mean, there's just an absolute clinic out of them too. And honestly, I want to say something about this Thieves team is these guys have some fucking resilience, bro, because they've been through the blender. Not only is just everyone just doubting them, but like they've continued to choke, but you know, it hasn't stopped them from trying to make improvements and ultimately making a vast improvement to their team's gameplay this entire tournament.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to see them change, including myself. Like I was saying, Pat was even saying, we were saying, you know, they should change. And you know, maybe they still should. I don't know. Like, that's up to them. But they came out and played good this weekend. So now I don't think any change is going to happen. You know, I know it was a single limb pro-am, but they played well. I mean, they came out and they finished pretty strong. Would have been cool to see them win the championship, but it just wasn't enough for them in the end. But I think Kenny's switching his guns up a little bit. I think Kenny's getting more comfortable.
I swear I saw him more with the AR this weekend than a sub.
He was switching. I don't know. I guess he just switches depending on the hills, you know. But
on top of that, they play a lot of Gavutu, so he's still gonna run an AR a lot of the time. That's probably all it is.
Yeah. He's still gonna run an AR most of the time. But he had a sub out. He's making plays with the sub, and that's all that matters. He looks pretty comfortable with it now, compared to that first time we saw him. But we'll take a look at the final scoreboard. Everybody from OpTic except Dashy was negative. On the other side, Envoy was 33 and 25. He was leading the way for his team with 1:40 in the hill. So really good job coming out of Envoy. LA Thieves were able to go up 1-0 against OpTic. Then we get into the S&D, and LA Thieves, they come out strong. They're able to win a round. But then after that, there wasn't really anything else. General's going to kick things off for OpTic, winning their first round with a little bit of a 1v2. We can kind of see how he was able to do this. Bombs down with 20 seconds left. General's just kind of working the map a little bit. He's going to throw a shimmy. He's going to kill Kenny, and he's going to play his life really well. Make sure he doesn't challenge anything. Check that bomb again. Make sure nobody's on it. And General, he's going to get that first round win on the board for OpTic. And then we can go into the 2-1 round. And this is kind of where Shotzi was able to make a play, or the 3-1 round, excuse me. Shotzi was able to make a play and get on that ninja defuse, and we can kind of see where his thought process was and how he was able to do it. But LA Thieves, they're going to work over to that B site. Dashy's going to open one up, and Shotzi's going to sneak in there and get right on that ninja. I think once Shotzi came in with the ninja defuse here, this one was all over, man. They were just building a lead so fast. I think LA Thieves really needed that round. So really good heads-up play out of Shotzi. What caught you guys in this map other than OpTic just kind of rolling through them? Anything crazy?
I'm actually fairly certain that Draza did the exact same play to OpTic at the last major on the exact same bomb site, where he just ran up to and ninja diffused when OpTic backed up off the bomb, which was actually kind of funny. But I mean, besides that, dude, OpTic's just so good at search.
They clutched up though. They got a 1v2 from General, a ninja defuse from Shotzi. You know, little plays like that.
That's not
you know,
like an actual there's ninja. They just took advantage of the situation, and they had the lanes covered, and he was able to get on the bomb and get behind it. It's not like an actual ninja where he's just fucking diffusing right on top of a guy. But
it's still woes of the Thieves just not being very clutch in S&D though.
Yeah, no, that is true. But OpTic search and destroy regardless. You gotta give them props. They're really good at it.
Typical snakes coming in from Scump there. Let's get a Zoomaa snake in the chat. Good plays coming out of him. And then, they're able to just storm through this one. They played really aggressive after those big rounds. And, they go up 5-1. And they pretty much end this one quick, man. Shotzi's going to storm through the middle of the map. He's going to find a couple kills here through Z. And OpTic just continue to run at them. I just feel like LA Thieves had no answer for OpTic here at all. When it came to the Bo Cage S&D, we could take a look at the final scoreboard. 7-2 for Dashy, 4-3 General, 6-5 for both Shotzi and Scump. Everybody from OpTic Texas having an absolute blast. And then we get into the Gavitu control. And this is just an absolute snooze fest. All defensive wins. Nobody can get onto that B point. I don't even know if you guys want to talk about this too much. This was a snooze fest of a round. Shotzi made a really big play in one of these rounds, getting onto that B point. And just kind of being a nuisance and trying to cap it. But, other than that, it's just a typical Gavitu control, man. This third game mode is pretty boring. What did you guys think?
Yeah,
it's just not gonna go. It's not gonna go. We're stuck with this. We're stuck with this for a year.
You already know my thoughts on Control, Tom. Where I'm like, oh, don't ask me about Control. But I did actually tune in to different portions of this map, and I know Thieves ended up getting defense in the end. But I honestly felt like OpTic was OpTic was playing better the majority of the time. So it was kind of weird to me that Thieves got off the defense in the end, because I remember OpTic was putting them in blender spawn traps some rounds. They ended up having a really good offensive round where they were able to take a large majority of the points. But I guess Thieves was able to clutch up in terms of the ticks. I feel like I almost feel like OpTic probably deserved to win this map with the way they were playing overall. They just didn't get the defense in the end. It was such a weird map to me, watching it.
The only thing that really caught my eye in this map was this right here. It's the play from Shotzi. All right, we're going into an overtime. OpTic's on the offense. They have to get this B point. We know how difficult it is. Shotzi's gonna get onto this B point early. They work some trades ring. General was the first one in. He ends up getting traded out. That's gonna allow Shotzi to hit that gap, get onto the B point, and Shotzi somehow stays alive, man. He's moving, he's sliding, he's dipping and diving. snaking, trying to dodge grenades, trying to pick up kills, and they get almost all 3 ticks here. You got to think if OpTic were to cap this point, they probably would have went on to win this map. We could kind of see how LA Thieves was able to break on in. You see Dashy and General picking up kills. I think right here, too, General, he tried to get onto that point, maybe stack it a little bit. But Kenny, somehow, able to find 2 through middle cut. Maybe General should stay up on his L trigger a little bit right there. And then I just think
100%.
Kenny hit a really nice shot onto Dashy and was able to find 2. So Kenny just goes huge. He goes massive. Last one up in the hill is going to be Shotzi. He gets tagged up. And Envoy's just going to hit it and pick up an easy 2-piece. And that's pretty much where OpTic let that one go. Because I feel like OpTic right there, they had 2 dead and they had 2 ticks. All they need to do is hold their lanes and win their fights. And Kenny somehow was able to find 2 through the cut. So
that's what I'm saying. I felt like OpTic was just playing better. They just couldn't win because of the circumstances of the map.
Being on offense.
Just being on offense, not getting the I think they didn't get offense or defense, by like maybe 1 or 2 ticks max. Like I feel like they
Usually what happens.
Yeah, I know, but like I still think OpTic was playing this map really well, but Thieves ended up just being able to clutch up in the places where they needed to.
Yeah, good plays coming out of LA Thieves to clutch up on their defense. I think that's all you really need to do, right, is just get your Ds and capitalize on your defenses and just make sure you don't choke them. Take a look at the final scoreboard. Everybody positive for OpTic except for General. I think OpTic might have even outslayed him a little bit. It was close. It was tight. But,
So where did Traza get world start at? Was it only on the last map? Because, like, overall in this series, he went neg 31, which was, like, pretty crazy when you compare it to everyone else on his team. Like, they were all pretty good. And I'm not like saying this to like hate on Draws or anything. He obviously played well.
What was his overall stats for the series?
He went 46 kills, 77 deaths, 0.6 KD, negative 31.
Huh.
Rest of his team, Kenny neg 1, Octane +1, Envoy +9. But like that disparity is kind of drastic. We don't usually see that out of the Thieves. And so I'm looking at these like, where did this even happen? Unless the stats are wrong.
I don't know. Maybe the stats are wrong, or maybe he gets pooped on his last map. I'm not even too sure. But one thing I do want to note is just, we got a little bit of a weird spawn going from P2 to P3. I wanted to watch it back and just see if I was looking at it the right way. But Dashy's going to open things up on the right side of the map here by P1. He does a great job winning this 1v1. So you can see him is going to come down to him and Envoy. He's going to gun Envoy off that head glitch. And I guess because OpTic is still in the back, LA Thieves end up getting a mid spawn here. They just all spawn mid. I was thinking maybe they should have got a back spawn there. LA Thieves should have got a back spawn because the old hill was still popped. Any other COD, they probably would get a back spawn, right? We see that a lot in Vanguard.
It's just a Vanguard spawn. The guy furthest alive, like on the map, is a Thieves player. Like Dashy never passed him up. And on top of that, they still have people, like OpTic still has people on that side of the map. So they're just going to get the default spawn mid. If it was any other COD, sure, it would make sense. But in Vanguard, like, I think it's practically, it's normal.
Right. And that's the thing. It's normal, but it's not normal, right? Like, it's normal for Vanguard. Yeah. It's normal for Vanguard, but it's not normal. I mean, Dashy wins a huge 1v1 on rotation. There's still 7 seconds left on old. If you in any other COD where the spawns make sense, if Dashy gets that kill, that guy's spawning out. He just made the play. But in this game, I mean, he gets the kill, and if anything, it doesn't do anything. It helps LA Thieves. They just spawn on top of each other in the middle of the map.
This game dying on rotation doesn't punish you like old CODs. Like if you there's like a no death period. I still remember this in Cold War, which was so recent, which had a pretty normal spawn system. You literally could not die in the last 20 to 15 seconds of a hill. Otherwise, you were basically just costing. In this game, that doesn't happen.
For dying on rotation.
Yeah, in this game, that does not happen. Like, you actually can fucking throw so many bodies at scrap time as long as you don't let anyone through.
Yep.
That's literally the only thing that matters in this game.
Yep, and I just wanted to highlight that spawn because just watching it live, I was like, okay, well, that was a little fugazi, but, what are you going to do about it? Vanguard spawns. It is what it is, and OpTic find themselves with a little bit of a lead, but the second rotation of hard points is where the LA Thieves kicked on up. It started here with this P1. They were able to chain P1 and P2 together. Let's go into the listening to see how they were calming and how they were able to do it.
Okay. I'm playing the plat. Absolute plat. He's just sitting on plat.
Hey, you're by yourself.
Good job, Dill. Respawn on deep. I can nade over time for you, Dill. Hold your kills. Yeah, I nade over time. I'm doubling into that.
Okay.
Nade over time. I didn't hit anything now. Tom. Yep.
Mass,
Maps.
I'm dead.
On the truck. I stunned him. Spot's done, bro.
Kill this kid.
Another pinch.
Deep.
Irish short.
Nice. Good job.
Okay. I got Tom, Sam, but you can tell out. That's fine. They got a people.
All four here.
I have your low deal.
I got here. All three there, guys.
I got double. Tell them back.
Low me, Seth. Dead. No, watch out, Seth.
Wait,
There's three back there. There's three
Get
back.
native time. I went P5, bros.
I'm gonna still play.
One's in a
Yeah,
BS
time.
I hit a nade. Tom.
I'm gonna start.
I'm P5.
Here.
Yeah, P5.
Second. But I got one more.
I do. I'm
Not weak.
This is what I'm saying, though, Tom. It's like, look at his 20, 30, last 30 seconds, 20 seconds,
I got Tom.
and they're just throwing bodies at scrap time.
Yeah.
They end up
I'm in P5.
fucking up.
Play mid slow, Zach.
But-
Could be low well. Could be low well.
Nothing maps behind.
That's how it
Close,
plays.
dead. I'm one shot. I'm
Top ant. One shot.
Slide out. Fuck it.
I'm playing on mid with Zach. One guy's going back to Zach.
And that's gonna do it for the listen. A lot of energy coming out of the Thieves, huh, Chris and Pat? A lot of fucking energy. Jesus, bro. These
Yeah,
guys are cracked. They
got
wanted
the
this one.
resilience, bro. They got the resilience. That's what I was saying. Like, the theme of this team in all Vanguard is they got resilience. They aren't fucking clutch. They weren't fucking icy for the majority of the time on Vanguard. But the one thing you got to give them props for is they don't give up, because, Jesus, they've been through the ringer.
Well, you
Look
also
at
gotta
this.
think, I
Look
mean,
at this shot
team-
from Bruce.
This
Mod
team
on.
could have been. Yeah, that pistol needs
That
to get
pistol
nerfed,
was
but
insane. That pistol shot's nuts.
this team could have been on the verge of a roster change, right? And like, I think they made obviously a role swap, which they were hoping would fix their problems. But I think, you know, you're talking about their energy. I think they all kind of feel that way and know that outside of Envoy, I mean, we kind of talked about this, like none of them are really safe. So I think they were just all, you know, playing with the energy that they needed to step it up. So
yeah,
it was a good win out of them.
And honestly, I mean, this one went all the way down to the wire. See the big 3-piece coming in from Bruce. Really good shots out of him with the pistol. Again, like Kagi was saying, Chris was saying, LA Thieves just throwing their bodies at scrap. Good job out of them. I think it was OpTic who was able to bounce back a little bit on this P4 and you know, get some time. But LA Thieves do such a great job on the P5. They get so much time here on this P5. They just keep throwing bodies and pushing out cuts. They keep staying super aggressive. They did this not too long ago too. We were highlighting them on a P5 hill, but just really good plays. Octane was able to get in here. He was struggling this map, but he picked up a couple big kills on this rotation. It went massive. You could just see constantly pushing out that window, constantly pushing out roof side, and putting that pressure onto OpTic. OpTic just couldn't get near this one. LA Thieves were able to build a little bit of a lead here going into this final P1. And then one thing to also know for LA Thieves is they had a streak. They had a streak to work with for the last P1 hill, and they're going to use their streak perfectly to break on in. Let's see how they end up setting up. They have a guy middle, two guys middle. They have two guys coming from their side. They're going to let the streak do the work. Some guy's going to run. It's going to be Shotzi. He's going to try and play his life from the streak. He's going to go down. Envoy finds one on hill with a streak. And just like that, the LA Thieves were able to break on in. So good streak usage from the LA Thieves. I like how they all got together and they didn't just burn a streak. They made use of it, and it was able to help them win this map. So congratulations to the LA Thieves. This is their first grand final, right? First grand final. First grand final.
Real
and
quick, just
good
something
job.
about a glide bomb, Tom. This is just, it probably wouldn't have impacted the way the game was played, but the way glide bombs work in this game is, and this is the same thing they were in World War II, right? The original one. If you have a setup and someone glide bombs you, your entire team, as long as you are not stacked, needs to stand still. Why? Because the glide bomb will only kill one of you, and you don't know which one it is. By pushing out, how I think Shotzi did, right? He was in U, and he pushed out mid. He fed LA Thieves a kill, and then the glide bomb also killed a guy. This is just something to note for, you know, anybody watching stream, or just something that people want to know in COD. If a glide bomb comes in, stay still and make it choose one of you. By moving your positions, that's what like the team that's calling the glide wants you to do. So just wanted to mention that.
100%, man. Little 200 IQ from Mr. Chris. He knows what he's talking about. This guy's a world champ. But let's get into the last one, man. We got the last game coming up. We got the New York Subliners going up against the Los Angeles Thieves, man. I didn't think LA Thieves were gonna make the final. I thought OpTic was gonna beat them, but LA Thieves look great today, and they've been playing way better the last couple of days. We get into the veto. We see Berlin Hardpoint, Tuscan S&D, Gav Control, Tuscan Hardpoint, both Cage S&D. Anything to note down in the veto system, gentlemen, before we hop in and check out this series?
These at least banned Bokage Hardpoint, so they at least were heads up about that. But
and look, it paid off, right?
Yeah,
At least they didn't win the series, but they won the first map.
Absolutely, and we were kind of talking about it. Like Berlin has just not been a good map for this New York team. I don't think, at least at their new roster, but something they haven't played much of, and clearly, hopefully, are not going to play much of after this absolute smoke show in map 1.
Yeah, and again, another smoke show. LA Thieves, they come out. Their Berlin Hardpoint's looking nice, man. LA Thieves look
Looking a
good on
lot
this
better,
map.
yeah.
Yeah, there's something about this map. They were able to build a 70-point lead after a first rotation of hardpoints, which doesn't happen often. Usually after a first rotation, it's pretty much a tie game most of the time. But not in this case. LA Thieves was putting that gas pedal down. Envoy again. He had one of the craziest sprees I've ever seen. I don't know if you guys saw it, but we got to take a look at this spree from Envoy. We're going to go on board with him right here. We're going to go to a live listening. Let's see what Envoy was able to do here.
Envoy on the flank finds 2, and it's a delight for the LA Thieves. Time still going their way, and man alive, Envoy, the 3 spree keeps going.
Yeah, I have to say, though, the play of this game was just banning Botage Hardpoint. Again, it has blown my mind it ever got through, because this is just not a map where subliners have really been tested. We don't know if Thieves are running the show. Envoy on the 7. The victory lap is he cannot be killed.
What? He's still going! This is 9! Has no one identified him? Is he not appearing on the minimap?
So Miles clearly a little frustrated because nobody's trading Envoy, but what a spree out of Envoy. That's 2 sprees now in the same spot from Envoy, just kind of finessing and breaking ankles over there. Bro, he's been super impressive this whole weekend. And honestly, this whole year, like, Envoy's been their best player by far. Would you guys agree?
Yeah, for the most part, I would agree with you. But the one thing I will say about Thieves this tournament is their hard points looking like, you know, the hard point of old. They're winning a lot of their HPs this tournament. I think they won the majority of their HPs this tournament, even here in the finals. They were to win that. And then versus OpTic, what, they win both? They won both HPs?
Yeah, I think so.
They're just looking like, you know, a better hard point team again. Their map pool is expansive. You see them play Gavutu, you see them play Berlin, right? You see them play Tuscan, and their hard points back to what it used to be, which is a good sign, because that's when they started to fall off, and that's when they started to really struggle, was when they stopped winning their HPs. And at this tournament, it's good to see that they got that game mode back in control.
You see, you think Kenny on the sub is like a big reason for that their hard points back? I feel like he's just way more impactful, which is what we thought.
Definitely. He might not be putting up the numbers all the time, but he's probably helping Envoy succeed a lot more. Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with YSL. Like, dude, Hardpoint relies so much on pacing, especially as a team, that, like, well, even a simple swap like that could make the world of difference.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. Took a look at the scoreboard there. Everybody from LA Thieves was frying, and everybody from New York was getting pooped on. So LA Thieves in the slang category in the first map. New York just couldn't keep up. But then we get into the S&D, and Hydra, again, I mean, just doing what he does, just able to make plays and be annoying on a map. He's going to make his way through mid on defense. He's going to open things up. And NYSL, honestly, came out with so much aggression in the beginning of this map. Even here, you can see them just rush A. They're going to push out all the way through. Paul's going to find a first blood. You can see Envoy. He loves the flank, man. Envoy likes to hit those routes. Paul X is gonna you know, find him, catch him slipping. NYSL, a lot of aggression off the rip. They're able to go up 3-4-0. I mean, they pretty much ran away with this one. What do you think is going on with the LA Thieves and S&D? Their S&D has been piss poor, man. I feel like that's one thing that's holding them back right now. It's good to see their hard point back. It's good to see them in the grand final. A lot of positives to take away. But the S&D is just not there for them. Where do you think it's going wrong?
Their S&Ds,
day one.
Yeah, it's been shit since day one. I think the one thing I will say is Octane was playing really good S&D this weekend, but the problem is they just can't get, you know, their whole team on the same page. Feels like they throw away rounds, or some rounds they just kind of look clueless as a team, and they're just getting manhandled. But I mean,
they got no ice.
I mean that too. But the one thing I will say about New York, man, these guys have a disgusting S&D team. Like, they're dynamic. They're like, they might not be like the best S&D team, but I like their dynamic in search. It seems like they all have like freedom to kind of like do what they want. I know Kismet's a playmaker, Hydra's definitely a playmaker, and Paul's a playmaker too, but he's more of like a support player. Like, he'll like cover his teammates really well, and he's got really good like awareness in search, because he is an S&D star. For those of you guys that don't really know too much about Paul, so I like their dynamic as a team in search.
Yeah, this is like the one round where LA Thieves was able to make a play, and it just started with Envoy. He was able to get pushed up mid. He was in the little cruddy spot, takes down Hydra, plays his life a little bit, good plays out of Envoy. This is like one of the rounds that LA Thieves was able to win, but then after this, it just fell apart again. NYSL went a couple straight again. They just stayed really, really aggressive the whole map. I just felt like they had so much momentum and confidence that they just weren't afraid to make a play. We also got the analysts. We got JP in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, from the New York Subliners. Make sure to congratulate him and show him some love on a big W today. Shout out to the New York Subliners, man. Got a lot of people over there that, I got love for, man. So shout out to NYSL. Congratulations again. But other than LA Thieves shitting the sheets in S&D and New York pouncing that aggression, there wasn't really much to talk about on this map other than New York just kind of pummeling them. It just seemed like they weren't afraid to make a play, and they were winning all their ones.
They were controlling mid-map really well, every single one of their defenses, and that's where they ultimately found the majority of their success.
Yeah, we can take a look at the final scoreboard real quick. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, I was gonna say I don't have it. I wonder what their record was in S&D throughout the weekend. We obviously know their hardpoint was good, but I think their search, they didn't lose many S&D.
They won a lot of round 11. Sorry,
I know they won like 3 or 4. So obviously have ice, but overall, I wonder what their record was. Can't seem to find it.
I'm not really too sure.
My thing for me is just that they were so dominant in hardpoint the entire weekend that even if they were able to split their S&Ds 50-50, I think it was really good. And I think that it's a good sign that they're competitive. It didn't seem like they had a bad game mode. I mean, they won the tournament. They didn't have a bad game mode. It seems like even though they're a new team, they look really well polished, dude. It's so weird. They look like they naturally mesh. It's crazy. I mean, it could be the honeymoon phase, right? But they just look like a all around good team. The roles make sense, and they're playing like it. That's what I really like about the team.
And Kismet's a big part of that. He went 9-3 in the S&D. Good job out of him. Going triple posse. Porter 7-5. Just really good job coming out of the NYSL boys in the S&D. And then we get into the Gav control. Once again, no offensive wins, nothing. All defensive wins. Whatever team was able to secure the defense and secure those ticks. Pretty much won this series, and this was a Hydra show. Again, he's 32-20 right now in this overtime. LA Thieves didn't have an answer for him. It's the way it's his awareness, honestly, for me. He's so aware. He knows where everybody is. He's so good at playing his life and switching his lanes. He reminds me of Simp a little bit, the way he plays, the way he thinks about the game.
Yeah, he can do it with an AR. He can do it with a sub, dude.
Yeah.
This guy's he's just fucking talented. We've already known this about Hydra, dude. We know this guy's a generational talent. New York just hasn't been able to put the right pieces around him. But dude, when his teammates are playing well and doing the fundamentals, this guy actually just can take over games.
Yep. And I think it was just a really good job from New York. It was the 1-1 round where they were just able to hold LA Thieves from not getting a single tick on either A or B. That pretty much solidified their defense in the overtime. And they were just able to hold on strong. But really good plays from New York to take the control. And then, again, we just head into the last map of the tournament. It's going to be a Tuscan hardpoint once again. Final thoughts on the tournament, gentlemen. I mean, New York came out and just looked fantastic, man. They looked great. I mean, we called them winning from yesterday.
Yeah, I mean everyone that's blown it up is looking pretty good.
Yeah, Pat, you got to think. Maybe people got to listen to you more, Pat.
Yeah. A couple more teams might have to blow it up.
Oh, yeah? Like who, Pat? Like who?
I mean, off the top of my head, Seattle. That's the one team
man, they didn't want to respawn this event. They didn't want to respawn.
They look pitiful.
You think they were the most underwhelming team this weekend?
I would say yeah, but at the same time, I personally didn't have high hopes for them as a team. I know they're very up and down. So, yeah, they just look bad, really bad. I don't think I was going to expect them to look as bad as they did, but yeah, who knows?
One thing I will say is like I said, dude, New York looked like such a well-polished team. They look like they mesh well. I think props to the coaching staff because I know they ran trials, right? And it could have been some luck involved, but they could
have just dropped Neptune and
listen. They did regardless. They did a really good of evaluating what they needed in the team, and they picked the right person for it, and it paid off. They just look like a completely new team. They look polished in every single game mode with very minor amounts of practice with Kismet, keep in mind, and it's a good sign for the team moving forward. And
also,
I'm really happy for them.
The people in chat saying Rocker blew it up. No one was asking Rocker to do what they did. That was the worst move I've ever seen.
Wait, Rocker didn't blow it up. They got rid of one person.
Yeah, a player that they probably shouldn't have gotten rid of.
Yeah. And on top of
what do you think's going on with that? What's going on with Mike?
I told you. 2022 Rockers just chalked it up. you guys see attached his tweet, by the way? He said,
I saw it. He ended up deleting it. I don't know why.
Oh, he
but-
deleted it? Okay, yeah. He said, like, I got to go back to my roots or whatever.
Yeah. Which,
I wonder what that means. I
interesting.
hope he's not back on a sub.
I mean, it sounds to me like he's back on a sub. That's what it sounds to me. But I have no idea. I mean, I'm just going based off his tweet. You know, that's all I'm saying. But I have no idea. But what about you, Chris? Who do you think was the most underwhelming team of the weekend?
I mean, underwhelming is got to be Seattle because we know that they can compete with the likes of FaZe and OpTic. They have that potential and they've shown it at times, but then they just come out on the weekend and they just were nothing. They just did nothing. Like I don't know. I don't know what it is about Seattle. I don't know what they got to do to get there because I've said it before. I look at the team and I'm like, what the fuck do you even change? It's like you picked up some of the 3 best challenger players at points in their challenger careers. What the hell do you do to make them better? Who do you replace? What do you do?
I would try swapping out Lamar first, just giving a little bit more consistent slaying power. There's obviously a lot of players we can talk of, and I think regardless of Seattle, there's players like what's going to happen with Gunless, right? Is he able to play? Is he going to come back to the LAG team? Is he going to come back to a different team if possible? There's Scrappy from the Toronto Ultra Academy
that guy
team.
needs to get picked up, bro.
That guy's
has
actually
to.
disgusting.
He's gross.
And then there's Major Maniac, right? Like that's 3 really good players that I can think of off the top of my head that a couple teams could definitely use. And even if you don't want to go with those type of players, I mean, I hate to say this, but like, you know, given Paris's state, like if someone wanted a player on Paris, I think Tom Gravity's been nasty. I think he could work on that Seattle team. I don't know if he'd leave Paris, but Temp, like there's a lot of players that I think teams could get. It's just the matter of, you know, what do we know about these teams logistically when they try and make moves. So I don't know, we'll see what happens, but I definitely think there still needs to be a couple more roster changes in order to have the most competitive league that we can have.
Let's tune into the listening here. We'll go into the LA Thieves listening, then the New York listening. You can kind of see how these pro players are talking in the final moments of a grand final. A lot of energy here, man. So let's tune in and listen to the boys. First, we start off with Los Angeles Thieves.
I think it's a hard rotation.
Middle me, Paul, lay down.
They're in new. They beat us 2-2, 100%. They are through. They are in the back.
Yes,
100%.
I flipped. Stay
Slow the game
alive,
down,
bro.
bro. Slow it down. Guarantee these rotation kills.
I'm going to stop. Stay alive.
You guys just need to live. We don't need a break. We need to live.
I know. I'm on the back.
We can go with Ken here. We can might be one.
I'm challenging. He gave meds. Back out, guys. On the truck still.
Close truck on me.
I get to the guy.
I'm coming.
Pass, one shot there.
One shot.
We'll spawn here.
I get back alley. One shot, bro.
Yeah, 2 back alley.
Get nades on Tom. Get nades on Tom. I need
I have no tax.
I'm gonna pinch match, bro. I'm gonna pinch match. Oh, it's close stairs. Challenge up the stairs. I'm pinching match, bro. Wait for Ken.
Here. I have my heart sunset. Back alley still.
Okay, take out Tom.
Back alley.
Back alley dead. Give me short, maybe.
Short and plat, probably.
Could be the back. Short, bro. Sit on. I have match.
Get us.
You can see the energy coming in from the Los Angeles Thieves. Now let's tune into the NYSL and see how they sounded on the other side.
I can short the time. Short the time. 2-0. Who am I looking for?
Draws it 2-0.
Draws in Kenny.
Kenny. All right, yo, clutch up here.
I'm seeing back here, guys. I'm playing
They're
back.
gonna go maps. Fuck, I gotta
Get time. I'm gonna get fired.
I can't.
I got Sunwell.
I can't get time.
I'll get it.
Top. I got one.
I can hold your
I got 2.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
Hold your I'll go.
Yo, one more well. He's gonna go.
Watch my
I need
back.
to
Watch
take
my
a
back.
step
I'll be back.
Watch that. I'll go only.
I'm gonna spawn out. I spawn grass. I can watch mid lane.
Okay.
I'm getting nades.
Back right. I'm dead. 2 behind you. One zig.
Yo, mid.
Zig weak.
You're in the back. Yo, Zig, here's your charge.
Nice.
One in the back.
One more. Kenny.
Weak. He's weak by nade too.
I'm gonna jump fire.
Nice.
I got fire.
Don't shot.
No, I'm good. He's weak. I'm
I got nade. They're telling you.
I got
One
one.
I got you. Lay down. Just lay down on that wall. Sam, one shot in the back. Just lay down, Porter. Just lay down.
I got you.
Just lay down, Porter. Just lay down.
Make them
I
wait.
have you.
I'm shitting.
I got him.
Z.
Absolutely. Literally a bullet. Close right.
Close right. Chill him.
Nice job.
Lay down.
No, Zig.
He's behind the fountain.
He's behind Z.
Weak
Nice.
dead.
Good job. Get the time.
I got time.
I'm gonna jump out mid. They're gonna read maps. They're gonna read maps. I'm gonna go bottom church.
He's weak. Wait, Joe.
I'm bottom church right now. One in new. Draws up.
You see, Porter just didn't want to stay down there. He just refused to lay down.
Fuck that.
But really good plays coming out of Hydra. Really good plays coming out of Porter. They really showed out. Kismet was going through with this map, but he was getting in the hills and doing what he needed to do. And I love that about Kismet, man. He doesn't really care too much about his stats. He's just doing what he has to do to get the dub. And he was frying all weekend. Don't get it twisted. It's not like he wasn't putting up good numbers. He was putting up great numbers. But good job for the New York boys, man. Hydra came out, Crim came out, and you know, took care of business, man. Really close map. This one went all the way down to the wire. We could kind of see how this one was able to finish off, but it was just the NYSL that was able to get this P1 rotation, you know, lock this down and win it here. They won it here, right? Or did it go to a P2? I'm pretty sure they won it here. It's been a lot of Tuscan. How many Tuscan hard points have we watched this weekend? Jesus Christ, man. You can see LA Thieves. They got in there for a second. I thought LA Thieves were going to be able to roll through with this one and send this to a map number 5. But you can see New York, they just worked the trades, and they get back in there, and LA Thieves just weren't able to hold on. You can see Kenny trying to stay alive. I think it was Porter and Paulie who made the play and got in there. Octane got a big 2-piece here, if I remember correctly. Yeah, boom. It was really good shots coming out of him. I thought that might have been enough to get LA Thieves in there, but at the end, it just wasn't enough, man. Paul Hydra going off 32 and 21 for Hydra, 35 and 27 for Fat Man to end the tournament. Unbelievable plays coming out of NYSL, and congratulations to them, man. I think you know, they've been through a lot, man. They've been through a lot, these guys. No, I feel like all year has been pretty stressful for them.
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, no, you know, I know that there's you know, people at the New York camp are feeling good, man. I'm sure you know, with Bobo and D-Real, JP, who's in the chat, all the coaches, man, I'm sure they've been going through a real tough time over there. So you know, to see them come out and get this W, man, you know, I'm excited to watch the next No Pressure because finally we'll get a No Pressure episode that's not depressing. We'll get one that's actually pretty positive, and you know, they come off a big dub.
You might have to charge extra for that, Tom.
Yeah, bro. I stopped doing it now. I stopped doing the No Pressure. Yeah, just you know, wasn't for me. Ended up stepping back, and you know, they'll get somebody else to do it. But really good job from New York, man. Tune into the interview. Listen, man, we're not gonna tune into another Porter. Okay, we'll tune into another Porter interview. You want to watch this, guys? We want to watch this guy, Porter.
It was a Paul interview, man.
We'll tune into the Paul interview and the Porter interview. We'll tune into the whole entire interview. These were our champions. My man Paulie, man, I think he was just like soaking it all in. He just seemed like it was like a surreal moment for him. I think he was just didn't really know what to say. I think he was speechless over everything. But let's tune in and see what Paul had to say, man.
Victory spotlight
and Porter.
Paul, congrats, man. When you joined New York, you guys were nothing like this, and you guys overcame just so much adversity and dominated on your way to the finals. You're looking good in every game type out there. How do you feel?
Honestly, this is a big, honestly, I had a chip on my shoulder going into this. Just a lot of things being said on the internet. So I just came in here to prove a point, and it feels amazing to, you know, come out and win when, you know, nobody expected this. They had us losing instantly, 3-0'd, but I always had faith.
Congratulations, Paul. I mean, huge win not only for you, but for the team as a whole and for your confidence as well. I've got to ask you, when it came from that first hard point, you guys lost by a very large margin. What was kind of that regain like heading into the rest of the series? Because I saw them try to re-challenge you guys again on Tuscan S&D, and clearly your confidence had to be high going into that.
Yeah, Porter just kind of told us just brush it off. They literally just came off a series against OpTic, and we didn't have a warm-up scrim, so we were just kind of sitting there waiting. So we kind of knew it was going to be like a hard first match until we got warm, and you know, there's nothing much you could do when their guns are hot and they're just flying at you, and you know, so.
Yo, Paul, listen, man, I'm gonna need to see a smile. You just won a championship, baby. This is your first W. Congratulations, my guy. And I gotta ask you, you are a confident player, man. I see you shooting bodies. I see you talking trash on the timeline. Like, what fuels you as a player? Because you had to go down to the depths, and now you've come back and you got a championship this year.
Honestly, it's my mom and my dad, honestly. It's like thinking about them and all the hard work I put in. I'm finally here to do something back in the league. Literally a month ago, I was an amateur.
And here comes Fat Man.
I don't want to go back there again.
Awesome, man.
Damn, London Royal Ravens is somewhere crying.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you so much. Congratulations once more. Sorry about that, man.
Oh, Ant, what's up, man? Best friend?
How's it going, my guy? Are you going to be hanging out later? I got to have some words with you, pal.
Hey, Krim, congrats on the
listen.
big win. Oh, feel free, floor is yours.
There's delay on this. You guys got to fix the delay. It makes us sound awkward. But thank you so much. Ant, no more Coronas, all right? We're too old for that, okay?
All right, fair enough.
Modelo's.
It's Modelo time?
Bro. I'm
Is it
telling
Modelo
you.
time?
It's culture.
Yep.
Modelo's are to play.
Yep.
All right, well, Krim, usually we're here, you know, asking you questions and you take control of the interview. Is there anything that you want to say to the COD community at mass? The floor is yours, my friend.
Yeah, one thing, right? Listen, where am I looking here? It's Mother's Day, all right? Call your moms, all right? And maybe I'll call them too.
Well, congratulations on the victory. Go enjoy it. We'll talk to you later, Krim.
And on that note, happy Mother's Day to all the amazing, incredible moms out there. I'm sorry you have to hear it from Porter like that, but yeah, interesting interviews out of Porter. We could probably make a Crim 6 interview montage from the weekend and probably go back and take a look at that. But I guess the last thing I'll ask you guys before we look at the upcoming matches, is this a Mickey Mouse event? To me, no. But I know other people do not agree with me.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I don't think it's a Mickey Mouse one, but I mean, the problem with this event was there's no crowd, it was single elimination. There was no CDL, you know, stakes on the line. It was just prize money. To me, the single elim was one of the worst parts. A lot of teams with subs. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a massive prize pool in comparison to what, you know, we've obviously counted for less. I don't know. I think it's one of those ones where it's like up to discretion. Some people are going to say yes.
Yeah.
Some people are going to say no.
I'm in the same boat with you, Pat. I don't think it's a Mickey Mouse event either, but I also think, yeah, it's the first event after, you know, a break, right? And people, you know, people don't really know, you know, what they're going to expect from some of these teams. Going forward, I think a lot more people, like I said, they're going to be a lot more aware of the competition. I think people are going to start to view some teams differently, and it could affect the results. But I mean, overall, just from the event in general, man, like really happy for the New York. They played really well the entire weekend, and it's good to see that some of the teams that we were like calling less competitive, right, started to bring it back and started to show that they had some life in them, because that's only going to benefit the rest of us as viewers, right? Because we're going to see a lot more of a competitive season.
To me, it's a win. It's just not a major win. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm counting it as a win, man. For me, there's a lot of money on the line. All the professional teams are there. A lot of people are talking about single elim, but there was also a pool play to get into that single elim bracket. So for me, you know, I'm counting this one as a W. I know people might argue there were substitutes and this and that. Well, welcome to sports. Welcome to esports. Welcome to anything. I mean, that can happen at any time. See it in NBA finals. Well, a superstar might get hurt in game one. You don't got him for the next 4 or 5 games. Does that championship still count? Well, yeah. You know, substitutes are part of the game, and there's going to be injuries. There's going to be things that pop up, and, you know, that's part of competition. That's part of the game. You know, and I think New York deserved this. I think they've been going through a lot of bullshit. And I think they're a really talented team. They got the dub. They played well. I think they outplayed everybody they played. And just like that, NYSL are your champions. This counts in my book.
In my book, for Krim to count this, he's got to remove that Australian event he counts, where they went with 2 other teams in an Australian casino and played one best of 3 in Black Ops 3.
See, that's what I'm saying,
he
bro.
He can count this one if he'll remove that one.
And it's weird,
so Porter,
Pat.
update your bio. It's back to 37. We're
Pat,
taking that one off the table, and you're adding this
and
one.
that's why I get mad, because I won PSX, and people are like, there's no way you can ever count that. I'm like, well, I mean, look at what Pat just said. Look at what other people were counting.
At the end of the day, bro, count everything.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm going to start going to locals then. I'm going to be 100.
Count everything with at least all the pro teams there, okay? The one thing I will say, though, is to me, I mean, it's, dude, no one says that they didn't deserve this win. No one says that they're not the best team right now. They're the best team at this very moment. That's how I like to view Vanguard now, by the way, actually. I don't like to see, oh, FaZe is super consistent. OpTic is super consistent. Oh, these are the 2 best teams.
Did you just say NYSL's the best team in the game?
Right now. Like how?
Nah, I can't buy that, because LAG were the best team in, like, listen, bro.
Yeah.
Fluke events happen. They're not the best team.
Listen, I don't give a fuck. We're talking about Vanguard. Bro, do you know how many times we sat there and said, this team's about to fry this team? This team's this team.
They are 11th
I don't give a fuck. They're the best team at this moment.
In the game. No,
you're off the pack. And then tomorrow we'll have another best team, because that's how fucking Vanguard works.
They just won.
There's been 4 different winners, man. 4 different winners, man.
Yeah, but Tom, not all of them are 11th in the fucking pro
I don't
league.
give a fuck. They're the best team right now, and then tomorrow we're gonna have another best team, bro. Because that's how this game plays. That's how all these tournaments are, bro.
I mean, I definitely think that there's teams that are better than others, and I think you can think, on paper or whatnot. There's always going to be teams better than
LAG
others.
were the best team. They came in.
Yeah, they were, and then they were the worst. Like, hey, bro, it's Vanguard, baby.
Yeah,
like, that's how it is.
Is that Vanguard, or is that also just COD? COD in general. I mean, Vanguard. Vanguard's what makes it way worse, of course.
Okay, you turned your stream on today, bro. You didn't see the convo on the TL. This kind of goes with Vanguard.
What happened today?
Modern Warfare. Go to my Twitter. It was my reply to Maven. Because I want to get your thoughts on this too, because this is, I think, an interesting topic that we haven't discussed since the Cold War era, or not Cold War. Sorry, the Modern Warfare 19 era started. You can pull it up. It was my reply to Maven about aim assist. They were talking about like, I forget, Chris, what sparked that conversation that you were having.
One more time. Sorry.
The convo you were having with Maven, or the one Maven replied to earlier.
Basically, Cap was talking about like time to kill in games and stuff like that.
Tweet on difference in player accuracy.
Yeah.
So what's the argument here?
So basically, before Modern Warfare, so 2019 COD, player accuracy in the league, as far as we can track stats, was like around 22%. Like you would have some events where like somebody would fry and have like 25 or 26. Yeah. And I remember those numbers. They were very consistent. Like it was really hard to get over that amount. But ever since Modern Warfare started, like with Cold War and Vanguard, players are shooting like 30+%. And so Maven tweeted something like, he was wondering about when like the rotational aim assist came into COD. And I was like, that's always been a thing, rotational aim assist. But if you look at my reply to him, there was 2 replies I had. You might have to check. One had a chart, but basically aim assist range has doubled in the last like few years from like previous CODs, like the BO2 jetpack era, versus like the Cold War era, when like Warzone and these long ass blackout and shit was introduced. The aim assist range is like doubled, and obviously we think has gotten stronger. So I think that's a pretty big thing that helps with players shooting that much more accurately. As on top of the fact that the guns are massive,
a lot of things change. It's fast TDK, technological advancements with just like controllers and just in general, just like the games just feel smoother. Like you go back and play on the 360, like it feels weird. You gotta think, remember, we used to play on like 3-4 cents. You go and play 3-4 cents on that game now, it takes you actually like 10 seconds to do a full fucking 180 or 360. Sorry. Like there's just been so many like technological enhancements to games and dynamic aim curve and better aim assist. And then on top of that, you get lower and lower recoil. Naturally, it's just going to be a lot easier to shoot. It's not because people have more talent or anything like that, because bro, I'm sorry, like if someone sits there, like any one of us can sit there and just practice shooting for a long period of time, we'll all have good aim. That's not what makes a good COD player.
I see what you guys are saying. Well, I mean, also we went to PC, right? So I feel like that they added like a lot of shit, right?
But I think mainly it was when Warzone and Blackout and whatever the Cold War game mode was that had that massive map. I don't remember what that was. Do you guys remember what that was called?
No,
that like bomb, that bomb. You don't remember that massive map that had like bombs, like 5
big
different
snow
bombs?
map, the big snow map.
Yeah.
With the jet skis and shit.
The jet ski, yeah. Fire team.
I don't know the name of the map, but I know exactly the map you're talking about.
Anyway, when they introduced that stuff, they obviously like aim assist ranges got extended. I think that carried over to multiplayer, because it was true in Cold War. Like you could shoot out to 65 meters with an SMG, which was massive in comparison to like the 25 you shot in the older CODs. At where aim assist works. So it was an interesting stat that JP looked up, but yeah, I didn't know if you saw that earlier because I know you started streaming.
I actually didn't see that. I didn't see any of that argument at all.
This is an argument for just people that, for the community. And I will stand by this. The games have gotten easier. Yes, there's competition. Yes, people have been playing Call of Duty for a lot more time. So naturally, decision making has improved. But that's why the competition is higher now, because the decision making of players is better. It's not because people just shoot better. Yeah, there are people that shoot better than others. There's no doubting that. But it's the decision making that has ultimately elevated the league to the level it is now. It's not the games. The games have gotten way fucking easier to be good at. I said this to a lot of people, like Black Ops 2, for example. EMPs, do people not realize how much more aware you had to be in that game when you were constantly getting EMP'd, because one, you couldn't have hardwired the entire time because you just get naded a whole bunch of times, but EMPs would take away your HUD completely for long periods of time.
Yeah.
You couldn't look at your mini map. You had to rely on teamwork, awareness, and communication. Nowadays,
when did they take EMP out? When did they take it out?
It was after that game. It was Black Ops 2. That game
didn't get reintroduced.
If you
That's
go back
crazy.
and play that game now, right, and you just start getting pelted by EMPs from other people, you'll actually notice how much more silent people are.
AW had one, but it was ass. And BO3 had them because that's how you got Cerberus is. But they didn't work the same as they did in BO2. They were like a very weak version.
Yeah. Whenever like the off season, we were playing like Plutonium or whatever. Like, and when I played that game for the first time again, I was like, holy fuck. I remember how hard this game was in terms of being aware.
Constantly.
Yeah, because you had to have your teamwork and communication like perfectly on point. Like that game was actually a hard game to be good at as a team. And nowadays you don't get that element that that game brought, or just in general, like everything, and I mean everything in the game is easier.
Mm-hmm.
Like so.
Dude, why don't we just play a Black Ops 2 remake, man? Let's get a Black Ops 2 remake. We'll just play that competitively. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, one could hope them. So there are things that are good in newer gen CODs that I think were improvements to like games like Black Ops 2. But I mean, that game ultimately just had the highest not skill ceiling, more so like just intelligence, like IQ. You had to you can almost like read every situation if you were a very high intelligent player, but you also had to have this awareness to be a good team. Like it was hard to do.
What do you guys think about jetpacks?
Famous said we need World War II divisions back.
The World War II divisions, I remember those, man. What the heck were they called again? I forgot which one I ran.
Armored.
I ran whatever. Armored. Airborne. Yeah, airborne.
Infantry and
Dude, I remember going to Sledgehammer when we were testing that game.
I used to switch it up. I used to switch it up with that shit.
Oh yeah, Mountain was the last one too,
that was
right?
Dead Silence, yeah.
What the fuck was Mountain, bro?
That's how you got Dead Silence.
Mountain was dead. Yeah, Mountain was. Yeah, that's how you were quiet.
And you also had that other thing you could run that like you'd run Armored and you could run the. Fuck, I forgot the name of it, but it made you like somewhat silent, but not fully. Because you had like the divisions and then like the little perks below them.
Inconspicuous.
Yeah, that's what
they made a fucking perk name Inconspicuous.
Yeah, that's unacceptable, man. That's unacceptable, man.
They were bro. Call of Duty has been trying way too motherfucking hard to be like every other game, bro. Like no one asked for this shit.
No, literally nobody.
Nobody fucking asked for this
All Call
shit.
of Duty needs to do is just listen to the community, listen to the people who play their game. I mean, well, see, they can't just listen to the competitive COD community. That's the problem. There's the casual side and then there's the competitive side. And I feel like right now they definitely cater towards casuals, which, I guess it's fair. But I mean, if we're looking at the bigger picture here, I feel like caring about your competitive scene and caring about the competitive community is important.
I just think it's a delusional statement to think that they're not synonymous. Like I feel like if the competitive scene is catered to, then the game is balanced way more than it would be otherwise. And if game is balanced, regardless of whether you're a competitive player or a casual player, game balance benefits both. So
right.
Listen, you can have these safe space safe space maps in the game, but you can also have maps that are designed around competitive Call of Duty. Put them both in the game, have a fucking casual playlist where you throw them all in, and have a fucking competitive playlist where you weed them all out. And like I said this before, but fucking lads and dads, as Scraps used to like to call them, the casuals, aren't going to fucking notice if a Claymore's gone from the game. You can make a game that's a competitive game and these people aren't going to know. They're just going to load up, they're going to pick a gun, and they're going to do 360s and camp in a fucking corner like they're playing a fucking army simulator. They don't give a fuck.
Very, very true.
And in my opinion, I think you're investing in your competitive scene is what creates longevity in a video game. Yep. And the only reason why Call of Duty dies off every year is because they don't invest as highly into creating a competitive atmosphere in a competitive game like other games do. Like Valorant, for example. I know they're completely different games, CS, but like these games are created from a competitive aspect from the ground up. Yeah. And that attracts players, that makes players stay, and ultimately builds up the game as years and years go by, right? Because people are looking for that competitive game. Not to say that the casuals aren't important, but there's a way that you can do both, but I think your longevity of your game ultimately comes down with the competitive scene. That's just the era of video games we live in.
Well,
right?
I mean, the first step, Chris, with doing that is having ranked at opening day. You know, when the game first comes out, there needs to be a ranked play. There needs to be a competitive playlist as soon as it drops.
100%.
Like that helps push people more towards the competitive side. I mean, bro, people on Val don't want to play fucking deathmatch. Like, I'm pretty sure most people want to play ranked in Val. They want to play competitive.
Yeah,
you know, that's just how the game's made up.
Another thing is, I'm actually fully convinced this is an actual thing, by the way. If Hardpoint, for example, was the first game mode on the list and TDM was the last when Call of Duty was created, TDM would not have been as popular as it was.
Yeah,
because
that's
most
just a known fact. I don't know. They should have done that different not from the get go, but when they realized that was the case, they should have swapped it, because that is the reason why TDM was the most popular mode.
And that's another reason why I say that these people don't care. These people can't tell the difference. Like most people, I know this because I play other games where I read Reddits and forums with casuals and stuff like that. These casual gamers don't fucking like to think when they play video games. They like to just unwind, load up a game, spam the fucking A button or the X button 100 times until they get in the fucking lobby. Like I think Call of Duty has so much potential, and they just chose the wrong path, dude. And I think the competitive scene struggles from it. But I mean, props to the competitive scene, because they do the best they can every year with what they have, and it's kind of unfortunate. Different topic for another time.
That's all good. X Defiant, baby. Tommy, run us into the matches next week. What we got?
Let's see what we got over here, Mr. Pat. We got LA Thieves. I'm not gonna switch over because I flashbanged everybody in the chat. The Call of Duty League schedule, it's too bright on their website. You gotta lower this shit. Put dark mode. We need a dark mode or something. LA Thieves going up against the London Royal Ravens. Got OpTic Texas versus LAG, and we got NYSL versus Atlanta FaZe. We kick off on Friday, so we see those 3 matches on Friday. I think the New York FaZe match is gonna be a great one. Super excited for that one. LA Thieves London will be pretty good. And then curious to see if Illy will be back. You think Illy will be back for those matches or no?
Yeah, I imagine so. If he was able to play at least one game, and he played solid, so I would imagine he can.
Okay.
That's it's a whole week, you know.
Yeah, just I just don't want them to rush him back, because there's no need to rush him literally at all.
Well, yeah, I want to know what it was specifically so we can kind of like make that decision, but like if it was
I don't know exactly what it is.
Saying it was like just an infected pimple or something else. Or
they're not in a position where they desperately need him to play, where they need points. So I mean, they just need to make sure that he's good and he's not forcing himself, because I mean, you already saw Ender's he's very resilient. He wants to, he wants to get out there and play, and even if he's might not be at 100%, he's going to try to come back. They just need to make sure that he is completely healed, because the worst thing that can happen is there's complications by him coming back, and when it's too early.
Yeah, you guys seeing this shit?
Yeah, I think that means that he's gonna run an SMG, like
Trey,
not running main AR.
So
he's
Trey
definitely
Zero,
benched.
Trey Zero, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Trey Zero from the London Royal Ravens tweeted out Sub-Zero. Right, he's probably gonna run a flex.
I'm interested to see how it happens. I mean, we were talking about the other day. I think he can do it. I liked when he ran flex in the older.
Yeah, Trey could do that. Yeah, Trey can run a flex for sure. Dude, Trey was a full-time sub at one fucking point.
Yeah, but this guy is seeking though.
100%.
Yeah, Trey's seeking. He's in the chat right now. He's loving this shit. He's loving it. Look at him. You like it, Trey? You like the attention? Here, let's show it again. Trey. You like it, Trey? Yeah,
I like when Trey runs a sub dude, or just as like that flex player, because it gives him a lot more freedom, and he's a very high IQ player. So I'm interested to see how that plays out. I think he's low key kind of like a route man in the way he plays the submachine, and he's very like, I don't know.
Well, let's drop our predictions and we'll head out of here, man. We got LA Thieves going up against London. Who you guys got? I got the Thieves. I think Trey. I think you're gonna have to settle in a little bit. I think you're gonna have to get your footing. I think you're gonna have a little setback. You guys are gonna have to regroup. You guys are gonna have to stay with a consistent roster for more than 2 weeks. And I think you guys will start getting on the same page. But I think LA Thieves are gonna have momentum. They're gonna be confident after the grand final appearance this weekend, and I think they're gonna come out and win the match. What do you guys got?
I'm gonna go to London, because Thieves will be back in LA. That's a Charlotte, North Carolina versus Los Angeles battle.
Man, who you got, Chris?
I think the Thieves are gonna play a lot better, and I wouldn't be surprised if they won. But I'm gonna go with London, just because traditionally I like London's S&D a lot, and I feel like that's a game mode that Thieves have like severely struggled in. So like if it were to go to a long series, I could see London winning both. They just got to win one of these respawns, and I think with if Trey actually makes this role swap, it might throw off the Thieves a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. But I think Ravens win it.
Then we got OpTic Texas going up against LAG. I wasn't impressed with LAG this weekend, but some of their superstars, Asum, right? He had a rough couple days. I think he's gonna bounce back. Some of those guys are gonna bounce back, and then OpTic, they're probably gonna have Illy back. So this is gonna be a good one. I'm probably gonna go with OpTic Texas here. I feel like they've been looking pretty strong, man. I was actually really impressed when OpTic beat FaZe. I was impressed. I said, okay. They're playing with General, and they took down Atlanta FaZe. That's, now I'm sitting here. I'm like, what's going on with Atlanta FaZe, right? So I got OpTic 3-2 in that one.
Yeah, I'm going to go OpTic too. I just think the LAG, like I said, I think that Minnesota event was just a big one-off for them. Obviously had a crazy record winning that many searches in a row and clutching up deep in those S&Ds and even some of their respawns. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't have too much faith in them. I think they're still just a middle of the pack team. So I think OpTic's going to take that pretty easily.
Yeah, listen, there's a new best team in the game every day, bro. Like OpTic's winning this one. I'm not sold on the not the Thieves.
I don't think that's black and white like that, Chris. But I get what you're saying.
I'm just, I get what you're saying. I'm exaggerating.
Yeah, you're exaggerating.
I'm just being an entertainer, but you get the point, bro.
I get it. Yeah.
I was obviously, by the way, when we talked about this, I'm obviously exaggerating, right? But the reason I'm saying is because every time I predict something, even though a team looks hella good, they just go out there and shit the bed. Like I'm tired of giving teams their flowers when they're fucking shit in the bed the next day. Like that's why I'm saying it. Obviously, I'm joking. I'm not that serious.
Yep. I know what you're saying.
Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
You get the point.
So you got OpTic winning?
Yeah, OpTic's definitely winning this one.
Okay, then what about the NYSL and FaZe match? What the hell's gonna happen during that match?
Atlanta FaZe all day.
There's a different best team in the game again, bro, and New York isn't going to be the best team in the game again. It's going to be FaZe is going to win this one.
I'm going with FaZe. Listen, if I had a bet, if I had to choose one, I'm choosing FaZe. But who the fuck knows, ladies and gentlemen? Who the fuck knows?
So that'll be a really good game, though. Honestly, I don't know if that's gonna be a series we can predict. Who knows how New York is gonna play? Maybe they had a honeymoon stage. Maybe they're the fucking real deal. All I know is these guys look incredible. FaZe don't look like they're at their best anymore. We've already had this conversation. FaZe is not the best team in the game, Pat. They've been a very consistent team.
You just called New York the best team in the game.
Yeah, they are at this moment in time right now. Today,
they won the event. They're not the best team in the game.
And then,
they just won the event.
And then tomorrow, they're not going to be the best team in the game.
They won this week in a COD. They won this week in a COD. Is what you're trying to say, right, Pat?
Yeah.
They were the best team today. That's it.
They won the weekend of Vanguard fucking roulette.
The team they played.
Don't care. They won Vanguard roulette for the day. They're the best for the day. Tomorrow they're not going to be the best. It's going to be another spin the fucking wheel, right? And we're going to have another best team in the fucking game.
Yes, sir. We're going to end it on that note, ladies and gentlemen. What a fucking weekend, huh? Shout out to everybody that got the Pro-Am Classic done. Shout out to the COD League. Thank you for putting on an event for us. It was a great time. I enjoyed watching it. Shout out to everybody at Esports Engine, everybody who went with did the production. The production was great. I know it's pretty hard to do all that shit especially when there's 4 streams going on. It's pretty hard to do all that. So shout out to everybody who's working hard behind the scenes, man, because that shit's not easy. And as always, man, we'll be back on Friday, man. We got some matches. Haggy, you want to come on full time or what?
Bro, you asked me this yesterday. Is this you making a ploy for your stream, bro?
Yeah, this is me saying, listen, bro, I need to bring you on full time, Mr. Haggard.
Yeah, listen, stream. Me and Tom already had this conversation, but now that we can make it official, I will be coming on full time onto the flank. So I'll be there for every single one of the league matches and all the majors and stuff like that with both the GOAT Patty P and the GOAT Zoomaa. We will be officially a trio for the flank.
Hell yeah, man! And I like it, man. I like it. You're really good on the show, Chris. And people love you on, man. You're a staple to the scene, man.
Listen, I appreciate you thinking that, bro. But you run the fucking show, bro. You make it what it is.
But Chris, he hasn't told you the one thing that you have to do.
Dude, I don't want to hear this. What is it?
You got to get a putt and a putting mat, and you got to start putting, bro.
And listen, for Ben too, like Ben will still be on the show, guys. He'll be on the show every once in a while and you know, popping in and stuff. He's just getting really busy, man. He's got a lot of work to do, man. Ben's a busy guy, so you know, it's been difficult for him to keep up, and he's doing the best he can. He still does a lot of work for us behind the scenes. He's a great dude. He's done a lot for the show, and he'll continue to be, you know, on the show and be a personality on the show. I just, you know, not sure how much he'll be on, but you know, it's good to just have Chris here, and you know, I love having him a part of the show, and he's been doing a great job. And welcome, Chris. It's an absolute fucking pleasure.
Thank you,
and
bro.
on that note, man, we'll head out, man. We'll be back Friday. Thank you guys for tuning into the shows this weekend. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Go to anchor.fm/theflank to check out all the audio sites that we're on. And go follow at The Flank on Twitter, man. Go check it out. Gert's doing a great job over there. We'll see you guys next time. Take care, brush your hair, and have a good fucking day, man. Peace out.
Later.